Tap those likes, baby. Here we go. Tap those likes. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, guys, and we are live on a Saturday morning, 10:52 a.m. It's the 30th of August, the final 2 days, the final 48 hours before we close out the month of August here. And let me tell you, what a ride it has been in the month of August. It has been an roller coaster ride of highs and lows, because we made some new all-time highs hitting 124, 125,000, and then we've made some new lows for the month of August all the way down at 107. So massive roller coaster ride for the month of August, and I think we potentially could be leading up to a very similar scenario in the month of September, with some roller coaster rides to the upside and some big waterfalls to the downside as well. So if you guys are just joining in here, make sure you guys are stopping those likes, hitting that subscribe. I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains every single day, and we are back here. So let's jump into the chat real quick. Let's give it some time for people to jump in real quick before we restart going over some technical analysis here. We're going to be covering Bitcoin critical levels. We're going to be covering Ethereum, Solana, Aero, 𝗭𝗢𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗫, Pyth, and many others out there as well. So definitely go check out, keep tapping those likes. And if you're not in the Crypto Citadel, definitely do so and join. So Edwin says, hey, Crusader, do we bottom for now? 107. That is a very great question, Edwin. Very great question. It is definitely an area of interest that I've been looking at. It was pointed out to me by my buddy CVO. So I'm keeping an eye on it. If 107 does not hold, 105 to 103 is the next big target area, right? So let's start jumping into the technical analysis here. I just can't wait, guys. I can't wait. So right now, let me quickly reload this here. Reload. Come on. Or I should say refresh. All right. So right now, Bitcoin is just kind of chilling, right? Doing its thing. Let me see. Let me turn some of this stuff off. Kind of just hanging out here at 108 above our daily open. We came down as low as 107,444 last night. A little bit lower than that, actually down to 107,331. And this yellow line right here that you guys are seeing is an anchored VWAP down from the lows of the of Bitcoin back on 76, 74,000 when we had the big drop for Bitcoin, right? From that low to right now, all that volume, this is the next, this is the anchored VWAP, right? So 107, 129 is an area of interest to potentially bounce off of. We had a strong bounce here off the 107,300, front running this anchored VWAP. It is the weekend, so we're just going to wait out and see how this closes out. But overall, this is a very interesting area. If 107 does not hold, if this anchored VWAP is lost, as you guys can see, we've been above this anchored VWAP for a long time. Actually, I haven't zoomed out yet, but we'll take a look at it here. Our next target zone below 107. If 107 cannot hold, guys, the next area is 105,532 to 104. Now, why are these areas important? Very easy. Quarter 2 NPOC at 105. Right, quarter 2 NPOC. We have a monthly NPOC at 105,400. We have a monthly average at 105,300. And we have a 6-month NPOC at 104,837. Below that, we have a daily average down at 103, very small target. But last hope, last line of defense is this big orange line. This big orange line is the yearly VWAP, guys. The yearly VWAP. We have not been below this area since February, March of last year, of this year, I should say. Since February-ish, between February, we dropped below it, right? And then we had that big quarter 1 to the beginning of quarter 2 drop where we kind of bottomed out in April, and then we started to climb at the end of April into May. That's when we crossed back over this and we got back above the yearly VWAP. We have not been below this area since then. So it's very hypercritical that we hold this 102. If we lose 102, buckle up, boys. Buckle up, because it is going to be a roller coaster ride. Now, I'm not expecting us to come down to 102. I am expecting us to find some strong support between 107 to 105-ish area. 107 to 105 is extremely, extremely strong area to have a big bounce from, right? Worst case scenario, we come down and tap that yearly VWAP. But as you guys can see here, right, zooming out, we were below it all of quarter one, until we fell out of it, until we got back above it at the end of April. Right at the end of April, we crossed back above it, and then bing, bam, boom, it's been up and up since then. So let me clean up this chart here a little bit. We're out of this. We don't need this chart. We don't need this anymore. We definitely don't need this. What is this? This is the quarter 2 range. Yeah, quarter 2 range. Not that important right now. Don't need it. Just clean this up here. Get this monthly out of the way as well. This is the 6th month here. Now, as you can see, we have been rocking and rolling our way to the downside here. As we close out this month of April now, right? Closing out this month of April, we are going to be getting some new monthly data for the month of April. So definitely check out in the Crypto Citadel the long-term macro analysis. And make sure you guys are in there for all the daily trade signals. It's been a fantastic trading month here in the Crypto Citadel for the month of August. We had a choppy third week. Let me tell you, we had a choppy third week. If we jump on over here, right, check out our P&L for the month. P&L for the month, we closed out up 5,100 smackaroons up in the month of August. The third week here was a very choppy week. Definitely took some big losses. Took a big loss on the 15th as well. Very difficult to trade this third week. Only walked away with 307 smackaroons for that week. But overall, still a positive week. It was just a rough week to trade. So we definitely had some rough spots here. But man, this final week here, even though it's not our biggest winning, it was just banger after banger. This final week here felt so good to close out. We got that big short yesterday. Walked away with over 520 smackaroons, right, on that short for Bitcoin yesterday. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain why we shorted Bitcoin yesterday. So yesterday in the signals here, we can see real quick, I posted at 8:30 a.m., 8:23 to be exact. Hey, Bitcoin short condition, we reject from the previous week low daily VWAP entry 110,800 to 110,500, and then the TPs are 110.50. That's TP1, TP2 109,600, and TP3 108,900. Let me tell you, I closed between TP1 and TP2 because I had to go out and do some family events. I couldn't manage the trade, but this thing smashed all the TPs. All through TP3, smashing it, and even went lower than that. So fantastic short here to close the last trade of the month for Bitcoin. We had a few losses, obviously, on Thursday, as you guys see right here on the monthly P&L, 158, negative 158 on Thursday. But man, we made it up this Friday, yesterday. Fantastic short for Bitcoin. Complete fantastic trade. I mean, that was one of our best trades overall. Just so clean, and it was such a major fake out for most people. See right here, yesterday, right, we had this big green candle around 8:30-ish, around 8:45-ish time. We had this big green candle going all the way up to the weekly VWAP. It swept the weekly VWAP. It swept the London high. It swept the previous day high. It swept a bunch of our local highs that we track in the Crypto Citadel. And this is the exact condition I was looking for. Took that short, and boom, look at this thing. Just straight down, sideways, down, all the way down to 107. Fantastic short yesterday. I'm sure a lot of people got really bullish with this fake breakout to the upside when the PCE data came out yesterday. But guess what? Not the Crypto Citadel, baby. The Crypto Citadel was ready for that short. Let me start jumping here into the chat and start answering some questions. Let's see here. Should I buy now or no? Guys, This is a personal question. Everybody's finances are different. Everybody's investing goals are different. Some people might just be getting into the crypto market right now, right, for the first time or for the last couple of weeks maybe, and they're seeing this as a dip that could potentially be beneficial. But at the same time, I'm not in that predicament. I am in a different situation where I've been in the space for the last 8 years. I've been dollar cost averaging all of 2023, to get ready for this 2024, 2025, potentially 2026 bull run. I'm personally not buying on these dips, right? I am not buying on these dips. I am on my end game. I am in my phase where I am looking to start unloading, right? I've already bought what I was going to buy. I'm not buying anymore, and I'm waiting for certain targets to hit on certain altcoins so I can start taking profits. That's my strategy right now. Some people are just coming in. They haven't gotten in a good position, or they want a dollar cost average. That's completely up to you. But if you're going to be dollar cost averaging, you better be dollar cost averaging with some data behind that plan, right? With some charts. Because if you're just dollar cost averaging blindly, like, oh, it's just a dip, I'm going to buy it. How many dips have we had in the last week? Let's go take a look at the chart. In the last 2 weeks, right, if we zoom out here to the 4-hour, zooming out to the 4-hour, look at this. We made the high on August 25th, right? In the last 5 days. Oh, no, sorry, August 14th. We made the high of 124. Oh, we had a dip down to 118. Let's buy the dip. You bought it. We kept going, made a lower high at 118,300. Oh, another dip all the way down to 112. Let's buy that one as well. Oh, we pumped up to 117 with the Jerome Powell speech. Oh, guess what? We dipped again down to 108. Now we're on our 4th dip so far in the last 2 weeks. Oh, look, we pumped it back up. 113. Oh, look, now we're down at 107 again, the 5th, 6th dip, right? And we can continue dipping here down to 105, potentially all the way down to 102, right? So how many dips are you realistically going to buy? I wouldn't have been buying any of these dips because, first of all, we're very close to a near all-time high already. We've created a downtrend that we have not seemed to be breaking in any case at all. And personally, I was buying when altcoins were down 80+% in Q2, or I should say at the end of Q1, entering Q2, around that that April time period when Bitcoin was down at 76,000. Altcoins were down 80-90%. That's when I was interested in buying, right? June 22nd, when there was a big dip in the market, right? Down to 98,000. Altcoins, dropped a lot. That was an okay, decent time to buy. But right now is not something that I'm willing to buy right now. I'm not willing to buy, not because I'm not bullish, but because I am in a different phase. I am trying to start now moving out of my positions and start dollar cost averaging out of my positions, guys. So personally, I wouldn't be buying right now. Yes, I do believe another rally is coming. I do believe that Bitcoin could still make all-time highs by the end of the year. So it really depends on you. It really depends on where you are in your game plan, right, to be buying or not. Is the bull run about to begin? Guys, the bull run's been here for the last 2 years. Since 2023, Bitcoin's been in a bull run. Let me just tell you that. Let me just tell you that, right? If we zoom out here to the weekly, really simple, guys. Let me turn off this VWAP indicator. This is the bottom. 2022, November 28th, 14,000. Look at it. Since then, it's been nothing but up. Nothing but up. Obviously, we've had pullbacks along the way, but we went from the bottom was in December-ish, November-ish of 2022. That was the bottom. So for the last 3 years, we have been in a bull market, guys. So stop asking, is the bull run going to start? The bull run is here. The bull run has been here. The bull run is getting tired, right? The bull run's only going to last for so much longer until we start eventually having bear market times, right? Where we start having another, which is going to be very different than previous bear markets. Yes, I know that, yada, yada, yada. But the bull market's been here. Please stop asking that. I see a lot of people asking. I know some people might be new, but I'm just letting you know. The bull run's been here since 2022. We bottomed out in November of 2022 at 14,000, 15,000. And since then, we have been doing nothing but going up. So let's relax. We are in a bull market. Just because Bitcoin's had a little pullback here from all-time highs of 124 down to 107 does not mean the bull market is over. Let's see here. Crow hasn't gone up today. Oh, how much more do you expect it to go, man? Crow went up over 100% in a week. So massive update. Real investor says Aptos target, please. We'll definitely check that out in just a second. Appreciate everybody in here smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. Make sure you're dropping your altcoins into the chat, and we will cover those. We will cover those. So Crow has gone up over 100% this last week, hitting 31 cents, 32 cents. Let's go take a quick look at the Crow chart. Then we're going to go take a look at Aptos. So Crow, where's my crypto.com? Boom. Let's zoom out here to the daily. Crow has hit pretty much all of his targets, right? Crow was literally down here at around 13 cents, just minding his own business. Got that big headline that, what is it? Trump media is going to be buying a ton of Crow to make a treasury. They're also working on a partnership to handle some ETFs, yada, yada, yada. Blasted off from 13, 15 cents all the way up to as high as 38 cents on Thursday. Wicked at 38 cents. We do have a monthly untapped average up at 39. We have since come and retraced down to our weekly VWAP of around 26 cents, and now we're somewhere around 31, right? So I do expect a pullback. I do expect a pullback here down to potentially the monthly, probably even the quarterly 18 cents could potentially be, but between 23 to 18 cents is possible of a pullback for Crow, especially if we have a bearish September with Bitcoin potentially continuing to head lower here. Thank you for smashing those likes. Let's go. Hitting that subscribe, Doug. Welcome to the Blockchain Crusader channel. So Crow here so far could pull back between 23 to 18 cents, right? As a healthy pullback after running over 100%, especially if Bitcoin does pull back lower towards that 107 down to 105, right? Altcoins will pull back as well. Another thing to mention is Bitcoin dominance is still sitting at 58%, holding it down here very, very nicely. So it is pretty good that Bitcoin dominance has remained low, even though the price for Bitcoin has dropped significantly. It's very important to keep that low for the altcoins to maintain its momentum. So even if Crow pulls back to 23 cents or lower, still a healthy retracement for Kronos. Above 39 cents, our next big target for Kronos is 60 cents. So definitely buckle up for that, which could definitely be happening later this year as we get another larger move to the upside. Like I said, I still believe Bitcoin's going to go towards that 150K area by the end of the year, which could keep Crow, especially if Crow has bigger headlines coming out later this year about the media team or whatever it is buying up more Crow. Definitely going to continue running here. But those are some simple targets here to the downside after a potential retracement here. Let's get a quick little gold pocket. Can't even see. So from the August here, let's get the August low all the way to its current highs. Yeah, we got a gold pocket between 22 to 21 cents, which is a perfect little retracement. Anywhere between 23 to 18 cents definitely would be a perfect little retracement for Crow. And then, obviously we still have a target to the upside between 39 to 60 cents. Now to go take a look at Aptos. If you guys are not in the Crypto Citadel already, I definitely urge you guys to join. The Crypto Citadel is my private trading community. So you guys, we do live trading sessions in there every day, trade signals, trade setups, long-term macro analysis, which we're going to be doing here when September 1st starts. We're going to be getting a whole new wave of monthly data. So we're going to be getting a bunch of new monthly charts for all the altcoins. So definitely stay tuned for that. And that's all exclusive to the Crypto Citadel. Where is my Aptos chart? Aptos, I believe I put it on Coinbase. Is it here? No. Yes, it is. Perfect. Let's see here. Let's get Q2 range, April to the end of June. Perfect. We are making lower highs here to the end of June. Yep, still in our downtrend. Let me turn this off. Turn this off. Perfect. All right. So Aptos has still remained itself below its yearly VWAP, right? Very, very bearish. All throughout the entire year of 2025, we've been below the yearly VWAP. We are still in a downtrend for quarter two. As you guys can see here, we made a high back in May around 620. Then we made a lower high in later part of May of 597. Made another lower high in July of 560, and now we've made another lower high in August 13th around 590. So we're on the lower band of this downtrend. Could have another run back up towards this 529, 560 area, still making lower highs here. We ideally need to get above 572 and starting to reclaim this yearly VWAP. That's what Aptos really needs. Getting above this yearly VWAP does let us run towards this 685 target, a quarterly untapped average. We have another target to the upside of 846 to the upside. And then above that, we have targets between 1045 to 1134 for Aptos. But none of those targets are going to come to fruition unless Aptos' price action can actually get back above the yearly VWAP of which is currently somewhere around 560, 570 area. Start closing some daily candles above there and start moving up higher and holding the yearly VWAP as support. If the yearly VWAP continues to act as resistance, expect this to continue making lower highs. So if you guys have a position down here and you guys see we're getting rejected off this 570 area and cannot get above it, probably an area to maybe start exiting out on some positions. Not financial advice. That's just what I would do. And I would cut my losses at that point in time with Aptos, since Aptos has been in a major bear trend all 2025 with zero attempt to get to the upside, barely ever touching this yearly VWAP. So very, very bearish. But that, this also could be one of those like we saw back in November where it's just so bearish for so long, just down, down, down. And then it has that big blast off move, right? It does nothing until you get that major altcoin season like we got back in November of 2024. And then you have a few altcoins that pop off 500-600%. Maybe it's one of those, right? And we get that big move. So just keep an eye on it. Definitely going to be updating the Crypto Citadel about it, especially if we have members in there requesting this. I'm not touching crypto until mid-September. We're still uncertain. For sure, we're still uncertain on where Bitcoin is headed. That is 100% true. Bitcoin got very close to this anchored VWAP, target of 107, 129, 150 area, which is a very interesting area to potentially bounce off of. If that area doesn't hold, then we have the next area between 105, 500 to 103, right? That is our next area of interest for Bitcoin. So, yeah, we just got to take the risk as it is, right? As traders, we got to look for the best possible trade. The best possible trade yesterday was a short, and we took that short in the Crypto Citadel. So in the Crypto Citadel, we're going to continue doing what we've been doing. Looking for longs when the longs are the best trade of the day, and looking for shorts when shorts are the best day of the trade, the best trade of the day. So we can only take the opportunities the market presents us, not what we want the market to do. Let me jump back in here into the chat, make sure I'm not missing anybody. How could we know the start of a bear market? It's very difficult to know the exact top, but if we start dropping below 100,000, everyone's going to declare bear market. Everyone's going to declare bear market once we drop below 100,000, we start closing below 100,000 like we did back on June 22nd, right? When June 22nd was around, it was probably the last good opportunity to potentially buy some altcoins, because everyone thought it was the complete end of the bull market, right? And it wasn't. So hindsight is always 2020, always very difficult to know when the exact top is. But like I said, I do believe that a lot of people are still stuck in the 4-year cycle mentality where people just think, hey, Bitcoin's going to top out right at the Q4 of this year, and then that's it. Bull market is over. Bear market into 2026. And yes, we could have some pullbacks in 2026. We could have another Q1 scenario like we did in 2025. That seems like a bear market. Bitcoin was down over 30%, dropping from 109 down to 76,000, right? And altcoins were down 80 to 90%. That was bear market numbers, right? From the previous bear markets that I've been in 2017, in 2022, right? All those bear markets, altcoins were down 80+%. That was bear market territory. Nobody wanted to talk about crypto. Everybody was done. Everybody thought it was over. It was never going to come back. And then we had a massive rally again, right, into Q2 of this year. And we've made some multiple new all-time highs throughout Q2. Multiple all-time highs. So once again, I believe that this is the next new era of bull market, bear market trends, where we'll have maybe 1 to 2 quarters that are very, very bearish, and like we did in Q1, and everyone's going to think it's bear market, and that's it. The bear market is in. We're going to be out for the next 2 years, and then we're not going to come back till 2028 when the next Bitcoin halving happens. And they're going to be wrong. They're going to be wrong. I do believe that now the institutions are here, we're going to have quarterly bear markets, sometimes multiple quarters, but I don't believe we're going to have multi-year bear markets like we did back in the day, right? When Bitcoin topped out around 2021, we had all of 2022 was bearish, and then 2023 was when we started to slightly climb up, but nobody was claiming that in 2023 we were in a bullish market, that we were in a bull market. We were still in the bear market in 2023, right, by expert opinions. So I definitely believe that those long time frame, year plus bear markets are over. And I think that we're just going to have, quarterly to, potentially 1 or 2 quarters of bear market time. And then boom, we pump back up again. As everybody spoke about this different now? No. But yet, I don't know what that just said. They don't call all season for a reason. It's a couple of months long, stretching to 2026. Not necessarily. Altcoin seasons don't have to be multi-month long, or multi-anything long. It could be a short period. An alt season could be a very short period in time. Could be a couple of weeks. Could be a month or two, right? Like altcoin season in 2024, we had one between in Q1, and we topped out at March, and then we started dropping in April, right, of 2024. Then we had another one in October, November, right, topped out in December, and then we started dropping all the way to the end of April of 2025. So similar scenarios could definitely continue playing out. Altcoin seasons will come and go. I don't plan on holding anything long-term. Everything is going to be a short-term hold. I plan on selling everything. I plan on selling all my Ondo, all my Aero, all my Pyth, all my 𝗭𝗢𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗫, all my whatever. I don't care how good it is. I'm selling it, because when these bear markets come, like we had in Q1, right, altcoins will drop 80 to 90%. That will continue to happen. That has not changed, and that will not change for the foreseeable future until we get larger ETF altcoin packages, altcoin indexes, whatever you want to call them, right? Until that starts to happen, the altcoins are still going to be dropping 80 to 90%. And I'm not going to be holding altcoins down 80, 90% again. There's no guarantee that whatever altcoin you have, no matter how great it is today, is going to be making all-time highs in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, right? There's inflation rates that these altcoins have that you might not be aware of. Projects and teams fall apart and they fail. A lot of them are startup companies, and they go away and they become irrelevant, and they're just an empty blockchain floating with some, trader price action, longing and shorting it, and that's all it becomes later down the line. But there ain't gonna be no alt season for them. So the only things I plan on holding long term are my Bitcoin, my Ethereum, right? Anything that gets an ETF attached to it could potentially be a long term hold. But so far, the only 2 things with ETFs are Bitcoin and Ethereum. So everything else is in the wind. I appreciate everybody here. A small part of my portfolio holds AI coins that are down 50+%. AI XBT, AI virtuals. Should I exit and relocate or hold? Real investor. So I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you exactly what to do, but I'm not going to tell you what to do, right? You do whatever you want. What I would do is those altcoins that you just mentioned are a bit of a higher risk altcoins, right? So virtuals, right? Virtuals protocol is down 14% of the month. It's up 3,000% of the year, right? It's only a $751 million market cap. So it's a low market cap. AIXBT, you said? Yeah, AIXBT. This is like an AI meme coin, right? $103 million market cap, very small market cap, high risk. The other one you mentioned was AI16. AI16 down 25% this month, $114 million market cap. These are like AI meme coins. They have a good chance of potentially rallying in the next altcoin season. Are they going to make a new all-time high? I don't know what your entry is. Not my business, right? But if I got into these, if I would have bought these and now I'm down about 50% on them, right? When I entered them, I should have had the mentality, and I personally would right now, but everyone's in a different learning phase of the market. These are high risk plays. High risk plays, they're gambles, right? You can hit big or you can lose big. If I was down 50% on these high risk plays, I would just let them sit. I would just let them sit. If we're going to have another altcoin season, if BitTensor Tower and AI, the AI narrative is going to have another major rally as Bitcoin tops out somewhere around the 150 by the end of this year or whatever it is, right? And Ethereum is going to run to $6,000, potentially $8,000. These AI coins, these high risk, low cap cryptos have a good chance that in the next big altcoin season, they could rally 100+%, right? We've seen it before in the past where these have pumped 100+% in a couple of days, couple of weeks, in a month. So I would just sit tight. And if I feel like they're not going to make it to my entry point because I got a really bad entry, then I would start to cut my loss as we get those major rallies and I have less of a loss on the way out. That would be what I would do right now. But I wouldn't personally be panic selling right now when Bitcoin is making some new lows. Appreciate everybody in here. Make sure you guys are smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. If you're not in the Crypto Citadel, definitely do so. That is my private trading community. As you guys can see here, we closed out the month of August up $5,100 trading for this month here. Week 3 was a little rough week. Only walked away with 307 smackaroons. But man, overall, August was a bit challenging to trade, but overall was a very, very bullish month, and turned out to be great for trading price action. We made some crazy all-time highs, got some really big trades as we ran towards those all-time highs, and then now that we're at some new lows and played out some great short opportunities. You get live trade signals here, guys. This is the short from yesterday right here, right? The rejection from the previous week low, the daily VWAP, and look at this rejection right here. Got this rejection, took the short, we started coming down, hit our TPs, took profit, and we ran it all the way down to our third TP and even lower than that. So fantastic trading week overall. Yes, there's always going to be some losses, but the Crypto Citadel rules are always keep the losses small and the wins big, right? So that is always the game plan. And that is what we do with proper risk management. So if you guys want to start learning how to trade, I definitely have a trading course. If you guys don't know anything about trading at all, I do have a trading course in the Crypto Citadel for everybody to join. It's an hour long, takes you through all the indicators that I use from beginner to complete, strategy play out. And if you don't even know how to open a trade on an exchange, there's a video dedicated to that as well, on how to open and close trades and how to manage trades through an exchange. It has everything you need. Plus, obviously, we do live trading sessions. That's where the majority of our trades happen now. They're not just signals. The signals are posted, letting everybody know ahead of time before the live stream starts, right? And if the entry happens before the live stream, then we got to act on it. And then during the live stream, we manage the trade. We take profits together, and we just manage the trade as it plays out. So if you guys are interested in that, want to start learning how to trade, want to get better at trading, you've already been actively trading, but you want some better strategies, some better confluence, some better risk management, some better tips, Crypto Citadel is where it's at. And this weekend is the last weekend to get 50% off. This is the last weekend, guys. We're on August 30th. On September 1st, Monday, the 50% first month discount is gone. It is gone. So make sure that you guys are joining now. Use the code Citadel when signing up to get that 50% off your first month, because after this weekend, it is over. There is no more discount. It's full price. What do you think about Chainlink? Let's go take a look at Chainlink here. Chainlink, man, big headline, not big move. Big headline, not a big move, which is one of the reasons why people are always like, oh, Chainlink to $1,000, Chainlink to 100 plus. Like, what the heck is going to get Chainlink there? What is going to get Chainlink there? Because massive headline and no price action, right? Chainlink has just been chilling here. We fell out of our uptrend from the previous month range from July, right? We tapped out around $27. Massive headline. Pyth took off, pumped over 100%. Chainlink, nothing. Sitting here at $23, flat. Straight flat line. This is the thing about Chainlink that most people, get wrapped up about. Yeah, it has all these bullish connections. Yes, it's connected to everything. Yes, the technology is great. Yes, the partnerships are great, but it does not reflect that in the price action. The price action does not reflect any of those events. It does not affect the price of Chainlink in any kind of way, which doesn't help you as an investor of Chainlink. So that is why I don't buy into the narrative of $100 plus Chainlink, right? And I do believe, yes, we could run to 30. We have targets at 34. We have a target at 47. We have the all-time high at 53. Yeah, we can run towards maybe something like that. But realistically, not really seeing what is going to take us up to 50 to $100 plus for Chainlink. What's your prediction for Ondo? What platforms do you trade with? I use Blowfin. I use BitUnix, but right now I'm starting to move away from BitUnix. I'm working on an exclusive partnership for the Crypto Citadel with some new exchange, which obviously I'm not going to announce until I announce it to the members of the Crypto Citadel first, to get them some nice discounts, a nice bonus trading deposits and stuff like that. So yeah, working on a new partnership, trying to move away from BitUnix. A lot of funky stuff's been happening on BitUnix. What is your price prediction for Ondo? Let's go take a look at Ondo's chart here. So Ondo overall still making lower highs here from July 22nd at $1.17. Made another lower high in August, continuing to make lower highs here. We're sitting at 91 cents, holding on to the value area low of the month of July. We are still making higher lows, which is good here, right? As you guys can see, we have the low of June 22nd around 60 something cents. Then we have the low of August 2nd around 86, 85 cents. And now the current lows are around 89, 88 cents. Still making slightly higher lows, but also making lower highs. Hopefully we can have a major push to the upside, get back above this yearly VWAP of $1.03, hold those areas so that we can start running for 122 to 155. I'm going to be taking massive profits between 151 to 161. And then our last target is 171. After that, create a moon bag and let the rest ride. That's my strategy for Ondo. And that's my strategy for a lot of altcoins. Aero, very similar strategy as well. Now, if we start dropping lower, targets are between 81 cents to potentially back down to the 70s or lower, which we definitely don't want to see. Man, the chat is flying. Sorry about that. If I haven't seen your chat or replied to your chat, I don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just trying to keep up. There's a lot of chat flying around. Do you need to use a VPN for Blowfin? No. What's happening to XRP? Nothing. XRP is literally doing nothing, just sitting there sideways. See somebody saying something about scale. I'll take a look at that one in just a second. Let's see here. XRP, lower highs from the month of July of 366, right? But we're still kind of very similar to Ondo, still making higher lows so far. But if we start dropping lower, my targets to be looking out for XRP are between 257 to 233. Our targets to the downside. If we fall below 257, that would be falling below the yearly VWAP. Not very good in the short term. That did keep us down for a good majority of 2025. We just recently got above the yearly VWAP back in July 10th. We can come back down for a retest, but if it doesn't hold, definitely look for a drop down to about 233, 215-ish can be, worst case scenario for XRP. Now to the upside, obviously the local highs, right? 350 to 366. Above that, our target is 416 for XRP. Let's go take a look at scale. Let's see here. Let's find Scale is still below the yearly VWAP here. Let me get some price actions. Get some ranges here. Okay, let me get the month of July. This is August, July. We'll just get the month of August. We're already here. It's about to end anyways. Let's get some potential targets to the upside. No targets to the upside so far. Yeah, not a lot of targets to the upside at all for this thing that I'm seeing. So be very careful with this. It has been making a decent amount of higher lows, of lower highs. We had a big high back in March 24, up at 13 cents. Then we rallied again in the next big altcoin season, November, December, topped out around 8 cents, then topped out again in January, February around 6 cents. Has since then dropped massively, and now we topped out again in the month of August here around 5.5 cents. So definitely making a large series of lower highs, big downtrend here for this asset. Definitely not something I would be interested in. Struggling to get above the yearly VWAP here. We're right on it right now, but as you guys can see in the past, we have not been able to hold it multiple times. We get above it, we come back down, we lose it again. So if we keep dropping, next target to the downside will be about 2.5 cents to about 2 cents flat, give or take. Be very careful with this asset. Not something I'm very interested in holding. Doesn't look that great. Large macro downtrend since March of 2024, which doesn't look good. Not a lot of targets to the upside either. So not bueno. What's going on, Betty? I see you. Get out of here. Quick way to get blocked. What's the best coin to buy here? There's no such thing as the best coin to buy. There's always all altcoins are going to have different risk tolerance, different risk management. So it really depends on what is your risk tolerance, what is your investing strategy, what is your investing goals, and depending throughout those questions is what assets you should or should not be buying. Right? If your goal is to make a quick dollar, you're gonna have to play with some high risk stuff. If your goal is to make money in the long term, 5-10 years from now, right, then your goals could be very different. Bitcoin, Ethereum, some other altcoins here and there. But you got to go for the larger cap stuff. Now, it all depends on what your strategy is and depends on how much capital you have inflowing every month. Do you have consistent recurring revenue that you have as extra money at the end of the month after you've paid all your bills, after you've paid everything, all your luxuries, whatever your living cost, you still have money saved over? How much of that is coming in every month? Or do you like, hey, I've saved up $1,000 and that is all I have. I don't have a single penny over 1,000 to invest and create a portfolio, right? Then your strategy is going to have to be very different from somebody that has that constant recurring money that continues to come in every month, every 2 months to continue building their portfolio out. You think ADA stalled for the year? No, I think ADA has definitely got another move in it for sure. We've seen it earlier this year when some big headlines came out that ADA was potentially in the altcoin reserve headline, right? It pumped to like a dollar, almost $1.22 or whatever it is, over $1. I definitely think another headline like that for ADA is potentially in the works as they continue to disclose more about the the reserves and all this stuff about altcoins, because we haven't really gotten a lot of stuff about altcoins. Just recently we got the Trump media thing with them buying Crow, but the reason why they're trying to do that is because they're trying to create altcoin ETFs, and then I believe that's where the reserves could potentially be coming in. Who knows? So I definitely think ADA overall has another target run between 122 to about 175. Hopefully 215 plus would be great, but I'd be happy with between 122 to 175 for ADA. Let me jump back here into the chat. You guys, make sure you guys keep tapping those likes, hitting that subscribe. Join the Crypto Citadel if you haven't already, guys. It is the last 48 hours that you can use the code Citadel to get 50% off your first month. If not, it is a game over. No more. Let's see here. Crow all-time high soon. I don't know about all-time high soon. Bitcoin could definitely still pull back a little bit more in the month of September, guys. If we look at the monthly and quarterly returns overall for Bitcoin, August, not a good month. September, also not a very good month, right? We've only had 4 green Septembers in the history of Bitcoin since 2013. The fourth one being last year. So I don't think we're going to get as lucky and get another green September, but maybe we do, right? Who knows? Overall, we don't get a very large green September, so don't expect a lot of returns. Definitely expect a lot of chop in September. October, November, different stories. They average out around the 21+% of returns in the month of October and 46% in the month of November. So I definitely do expect a bigger run in October, November. September could be that tee up like we had last year where we started to get that bullish momentum to start really have the big push into Q4 for Bitcoin, potentially running towards that 150. So that's what I'm expecting to see. Appreciate everybody smashing those likes, hitting that subscribe. I see you guys joining the Crypto Citadel every single day. Like I said, last chance, last weekend to get 50% off your first month, to get the live trading signals, the live trading sessions, the 1-hour trading course, and much, much more. Hi there. Is XRP good? Can it go to $5 plus? Can it go to $5? Absolutely. It could go to $5. Is it going to go to $5? Nobody knows. Nobody knows, guys. XRP is the biggest Fugazi coin. Right? I believe, I've said this a few times now, XRP is the Dogecoin of 2025. Right? XRP is now equivalent to what Dogecoin was back in 2021. Everybody thought they were going to become multimillionaires off XRP, off Dogecoin back in 2021. And Dogecoin ran to 73 cents. Some people made some serious money, and then everyone else got left holding the bag because they thought it was going to go to $1 plus, and it never did. And XRP is giving me the exact same feels. Why? Because there's a cult behind XRP that feed you a bunch of Fugazi information. There's a bunch of content creators out there that only speak about XRP. Their whole content is just about XRP because they're just constantly feeding Fugazi to their audience, feeding them hopium. The switch, the flip of the switch is going to happen any second. The government is going to have a buyback. They're going to buy it back for $50,000 a piece. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And none of those things happen. None of those things happen, but yet these content creators continue to feed you and move the goalpost and change the narrative around on what's going to happen. And it's all hopium that XRP is going to go higher. 2021, XRP was going to go to 589. Everybody talked about 589. Then throughout the bear market, it's the suppression, the lawsuit, right? The lawsuit, it's all about suppression because the government is going to do a major buyback of $50,000. Then it moved down to $1,000, $10,000, like all these wild numbers. Guys, XRP at $10 is a $1 trillion asset. A $1 trillion asset. There's only $1 trillion asset in crypto. That's Bitcoin. It's 2-point-something trillion. The second largest asset is Ethereum with a few hundred billion. XRP is right behind that, right? It's the third largest. But it's not going to go to $10 and hit a $1 trillion asset. What is Bitcoin going to be at? 5+ trillion? What is Ethereum going to be at? A trillion. If XRP is at $1 trillion, you don't think Ethereum's going to hit $1 trillion plus? Ethereum's already over 500 billion. So you don't think it's going to double up from where it's at? But XRP somehow is going to surpass it momentously. When the lawsuit was over, it pumped all the way from freaking 215 to 366. That's it. The suppression is over. The flip of the switch is here. Guess what? I guess they turned the switch back off because after 366, it just whoop, straight back down to 280. And now, I'm not saying that it can't pump up again. It can't hit $4. It can't hit $5. It definitely can. But let's be realistic. Let's stop feeding and believing into these BS narratives that all this fugazi is going to happen that is so special that would only happen for XRP. When there's tons of banks out there building their own blockchains that have been studying the blockchain for many years now. XRP had an advantage in 2018 when nobody even understood crypto yet. It had a slight advantage in 2021. I'll give it that. A slight advantage before the faster and cheaper narrative came out with all the layer 2s and all this stuff, right? Then the lawsuit happened. It's been 5 years. The rest of the world could have adopted XRP by now. The rest of the world could have adopted XRP by now, but they have not. They have not. None of the banks around the world are pumping XRP's price. Only whatever little headline comes out of the US about the lawsuit or about a potential reserve being added to the reserve or whatever Trump is saying about XRP is the only thing that makes XRP move. Nobody else in the world, no other business, no other bank, no other industry cares or pumps XRP's price. That should tell you something. That should tell you something. I didn't have time for an updated screenshot, dude. Get over it. Already covered Chainlink. Chainlink is just sitting there sideways, sitting at $23, completely flat, not doing anything even after having major headlines, right, of the economic data being posted on chain through Chainlink and Pyth. Pyth blasted off over 100%. Chainlink, flatline. Which is why I don't buy into the narrative that Chainlink is going to go to $100+. So you're basically saying it has nowhere to go but down. What has nowhere to go but down? I'm not saying XRP has nowhere to go but down. XRP could definitely have other rallies to the upside with altcoins, with Bitcoin getting back up to 100,000, 150,000 by the end of the year. So it could definitely have rallies. It can definitely hit $5. Just don't buy into the Fugazi narrative of all this special utility that only XRP is going to have, and it's going to take over the financial system, and everybody's going to become a quadrillionaire overnight, guys. XRP's market cap is going to hit the quadrillions. Forget about trillions. It's going to go to the quadrillions, and everybody is going to wake up overnight and become instantly rich. And somehow, all these exchanges are going to have enough liquidity for when they start, for all of you guys to sell your XRP and cash out your hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. There's going to be a new wave of another 1,000, 10,000 plus people that are going to become XRP multi-billionaires. And all these exchanges are going to have liquidity just for you guys. Think about that. Think about the math there. I don't know anything about meme core. Don't really care about it. It pumps here and there, but don't really follow along with that at all. Appreciate everybody in here. Appreciate all of you guys. Somebody said Zach. You already know. I didn't say it. I like Zach. I've talked to him multiple times. We've debated before back in 2021. Super cool guy. Just, buys into that narrative that just consumes him. I don't know. Which makes no sense. So I appreciate everybody in here smashing those likes. Hope to see all of you guys in the Crypto Citadel. Like I said, we closed out the month of August here up $5,100. 5,100 smackaroons. Fantastic trading month here for the month of August. Great trades overall. Make sure you guys want to start following along, start catching these live trade signals in the live trade sessions with me and everyone else in the Crypto Citadel. Definitely do so and join. This is your last weekend to get 50% off your first month. The code is Citadel for when you're signing up. If you have any issues, if you have any questions, my DMs are always open. You can DM me. I will never DM you first. DM me, ask me whatever questions you need, and I'll help you through the process if you need help. And I'll answer any of your questions. But like I said, if you get a DM from somebody that looks like me or potentially might sound like me, don't worry. It's definitely not me. Block them and get out of there. Money can leave Bitcoin into XRP doesn't mean they're both going to grow proportionally. Oh, so you think that the largest asset in the world that is experiencing the largest amount of adoption ever right now, right? Since 2024, ETFs, BlackRock, all these massive institutions are all about Bitcoin. Tomorrow are just going to flip the switch and say, all right, guys, tank Bitcoin. We're going to buy XRP only. Come on now. Think about that. Think about that. No asset that has hit $1 trillion market cap has disappeared. You think Bitcoin's going to disappear? You think Bitcoin's going to drop down below $1 trillion and XRP is just going to surpass it and take over? That doesn't make sense, guys. That doesn't make sense. Bitcoin is literally paving the way. Yes, can XRP get an ETF down the line? Absolutely. Can XRP be included in some other stuff? Yes, absolutely. There will be many altcoins that are included in the ETFs and do a bunch of miraculous things. But the realistic thing is that at the end of the day, Bitcoin is number one. Bitcoin will continue to be the leader. Bitcoin will continue to lead the way. And that's not going to change for the foreseeable future. So you have a lifetime one-time payment option? No, I do not have a lifetime one-time payment option. It's month to month. That way, if you don't like it at any point in time, you can exit, you can leave, and that's it, right? Because every time I've ever done anything with lifetime options, people come in for a month or two, and then on the third month, they're like, "Hey, I want a refund for all the rest of the months that I never used," and then it becomes a huge headache, fighting with people back and forth and making them understand that there's no refunds and this and that, and then people, nope, I don't want any of that dilemma. I don't want any of that drama. Simple, month to month. When you like it, you stay. You don't like it, you're out, right? And we don't have to talk about refunds. We don't have to talk about any of that. Fugazi, we don't have to fight over anything, right? It is what it is. The group pays for itself, right? With the returns that we're getting, with the trades that we're making, it literally pays for itself. So if the group is not paying for itself, it's on you. Either you're not paying attention, you're not participating in the live sessions, you're not learning, you're not asking questions, you are not putting in the effort. It's not going to happen by itself. I can take you to the water, but I can't force you to drink, right? So it's like the old saying, right? You can take a horse to the water, but you can't make a horse drink. It's that simple. I can lead you, I can teach you, I can show you, but if you're not actively taking the trades, if you're not actively paying attention, if you're not actively joining the trading sessions, asking questions, participating in the trades, communicating with the other members in the Citadel, seeing what trades they're taking, then it is on you why it's not paying for itself. So, guys, like always, I'm Blockchain Crusader, crusading through these blockchains. I'll see all of you guys in the Crypto Citadel. This is the last weekend. Make sure you take advantage of that 50% off your first month using the code Citadel. Like always, guys, I'll see you in the Crypto Citadel. See ya.